Welcome back to Religion in the News. Our first segment, we talk to Indianapolis Colts center Jeff Saturday. This next segment, he's here to talk about what he's been through as a National Football League player and also a father and a man of faith. Jeff, welcome back.
I appreciate it.
Now, you have some pretty impressive stats as a player in the National Football League. You're a 5-time Pro Bowler. You are a 4-time All-Pro selectee. You started, I believe, 187 games, somewhere around there.
Okay.
You've played over 196 games. You've had 141 regular season wins as a Colts player, 11 playoff appearances, 6 division titles, 2 AFC championships, and 1 Super Bowl title.
Wow.
How do you like that?
That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. Better than I was. That's half the stuff I didn't even know. You just gave it to me.
It's great stats. Well, you know, there's a lot that goes behind the man, Jeff Saturday. One, of course, I know you're a man of faith. You're a family man. You and your wife, Karen, are very well known and established throughout our city.
Yeah.
Both of you are involved in plenty of charities, and we can talk about that here in a moment. But as a player, I know that faith is one of your fundamental attributes to where you've been, where you're going, and how you got through. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's one of the things that impressed me most when Tony Dungy actually came to the Colts is, you know, he brought in a coaching staff that was really aligned with a lot of Christian coaches and men of faith and people who carried themselves in a very respectful way. And I remember watching these guys, and football is it's a violent sport. I mean, you make no bones about it. It's a physical and violent game, and we get after it. And I love playing the game, but when you come off the field, there has to be something that changes in you. You can't walk around with that kind of stuff going on. And so I remember watching Tony and watching Clyde Christensen and these men who were professing their faith and how they lived it. And Tarek Glenn, who was our starting left tackle at the time, I remember he and I challenged each other. Kind of our first faith-based thing was to try to stop cussing on the field. And we were like, listen, how do we make an impact to our teammates? How can they see that we're different or that we want to live our lives in a different way? And you'd be amazed at just a simple thing as, trying to control your tongue. And by no means was I perfect or am I perfect, but, just having that thought, that thought go through your mind. And it was little things like that and beginning to read the Bible. We began to read the Bible as a team. And we had 1-year Bible, so we would all read on the same day and the same passages. And so we could talk about it. And guys like Ken Johnson, who's our chaplain, and Eric Simpson, who was our chaplain, those guys began to get in and just kind of mentor us into how to be men of faith who really live it out. And so I've had great training through the men in my life. Jim Caldwell just added to it once Tony left. But I've had men who have held me accountable and called me to a greater standard, and it's really been impactful. And truthfully, everything, all the stats that you read and all those things, all that's great with the football. But I'm more thankful when somebody walks up to me and says, I appreciate the way you live your life or the way you carry yourself with integrity, and I'm proud to tell my son or my daughter that they should pattern themselves after you. Because as a dad, that's what I do. I try to point my kids to people who, your Tim Tebow's or whoever, and people can think whatever they want about football. All that's just a game. I mean, I know it from inside and out, but it's really irrelevant when it comes down to how people act. I try to find people in the community and businessmen and leaders who, they live their life the way that I would look at my kids and say, hey, pattern yourself after them. They don't always want to pattern themselves after dad, right? I mean, it's not always cool to be like that, but I encourage them. And so to be considered that is a humbling experience and one that I don't take lightly and that I appreciate greatly.
As impressive as your play has been on the field, all of your stats, it's just as impressive what you've done off the field. The city of Indianapolis has truly embraced Jeff Saturday, Karen Saturday, your wife. You guys are icons here. And, many charitable organizations you've been a part of. You received several awards. I know that in 2010, you were the Susan G. Komen Individual Lifetime Achievement Award recipients. That's big.
Yeah.
You are also, not sure if you knew this one, Jeff, but you're the 59th greatest player in the NFL, top 100 players of 2011.
All right.
And dozens and dozens of achievements. Talk to us about your charitable work, how that came to be a part of you? And
Yeah, it was one of those things where my wife and I, we've been involved in a lot of individual charity events, but we wanted to something that we could kind of stack a legacy on. And so we wanted to do two larger charities. One is the one you said, the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure, and we've been the honorary chairs for the Survivor Walk. For 7 years. And so that was a big event. And there was another one. I like to ride motorcycles, and my wife won't let me ride them except on special events. So I got involved in the Miracle Ride for Riley's Children's Hospital.
Excellent charity.
But both are two big charities that get a lot of funding from not only our city, but from other places. And so we wanted to find two more local, community-driven charities as well. And so we found Kids Voice, which is an advocacy group for kids who are neglected and abused here in Indianapolis. And I'm from a single-parent family, so I realized that there's a lot of difficulties that people face in raising kids. And so that was important to me. And then we had a fire in our home, and so we got involved with the People's Burn Foundation. And just small ways that we knew we could impact people locally, and that our community was going to thrive from it. And so we've done a number of events with both of those charities, and every year for the past 4 years we've done the SuperBowl for Saturday's Kids, and it's a great event that both charities split the money, and it's a reverse raffle. And anything that we can do to kind of lend our name to help things that are important to people in our community, that we can help bring finance, or more than anything, people's time and energy to come help volunteer. My wife Karen, she spearheads it up for our family and does a great job.
She's
for
a
us.
trooper.
She is, absolutely.
Thinking of finances, weren't you a teller for one day?
I was a teller for one day. Not a very good one either. Not a very good one.
Yeah, talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I have been with Indiana Bank and Trust for a number of years, and I'm a spokesman for their bank. And so they always get me to do these fun things with them. And one of the things I did was I was a teller, and I go in and people are coming in. And these are random customers who have no idea who I am or what I'm doing, and all of a sudden they realize it's me, and I'm taking their money, and it gets exciting, but I have no idea what I'm doing, and people are trying to train me, and I'm trying to work the computer and the little thing that shoots the money back and forth to people through the tube and everything, and I tell you, you realize when you're in the line why you wait so long, because it is not an easy gig.
Now, Jeff, I got to do this. Have to get a snap with the great Jeff Saturday.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to be.
I'm only doing this because it's a godly show.
Because it's a godly show?
That's
All right,
right.
sounds
That's
good.
right. That's the only reason I'm doing it.
How about on Blue 63? Sound good?
All right, Blue 63.
Get that feeling of yelling.
Yeah, get ready.
Blue 63!
Nice.
Hey, we're back.
Nice catch.
Hey, thanks for being our guest today on Religion in the News.
Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you, and we'll be right back. The Church Federation of Greater Indianapolis has begun its centennial celebrations commemorating 100 years of service to the Indianapolis community. For a list of events and activities during 2012, visit indyfaith.org. Well, thanks for joining us today. That's it for this episode of Religion in the News. Be sure to tune in next month for another exciting episode. You can share your upcoming event on our calendar by sending it to us at least 2 weeks in advance to the Wish TV address on the screen, or email your event and prayer requests to us at religion@wishtv.com. You can also check us out on Facebook under Religion in the News. Check out our guest information and calendar events this week by visiting wishtv.com, click on Community, and then on Religion in the News. Also visit the Church Federation of Greater Indianapolis' website at indyfaith.org. Here's our calendar. Have a great week.